evening, everyone. I'd like to call the City Council meeting for Monday, March 23rd, 2026 to order. Please rise and join me in the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember White.
Excused.
Councilmember Freeberg. Here. Councilmember Fairley.
Here.
Councilmember Parker. Here. Councilmember Thomas.
Here.
I make a motion to excuse Councilmember White.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second to excuse Councilmember White. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Thank you. Call public hearing. Item number A, Resolution 1308-26, Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Public Hearing. Chris, did you want to make any comments about that?
I have no additional comments. This is the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space public hearing. This is the pros plan that Planning Commission and Council have now reviewed once. This is the second touch tonight.
I will open the hearing at 7:01. Are there any comments? Yes, sir.
I read through this document again and all the changes that I asked for. We're all taking it, so I haven't been through it from now.
Thank you, Councilman Fairley. If there's no other comments, I'll close the hearing at 7:02. Presentation tonight, Planning Commission confirmation. Where is it? Chris make it? Okay, so we'll want to do confirmation for new Planning Commissioner Vladimir Vladovich. Thank you. Couldn't get it out.
You're making the recommendation.
Oh, yeah.
Council's got to make the motion.
Make a recommendation.
I make a motion to approve Vladimir Pavlovich. I'm trying as planning commission.
He's not here tonight, but he's still.
Do we want to?
Thank you.
Okay, and Chris Gomez.
I'll second.
To planning commission.
I'll second.
Have a second, motion and a second to approve Planning Commissioners Chris Gomez and Vladimir Vladovich. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
So I, state your name, have been duly appointed to the office of City of Algona, Planning Commission, Position 3. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of this office as prescribed by law to the best of my ability, and that I will support and maintain the Constitution of the State of Washington and the United States of America.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules for the order of business to include the SCA Public Issues Committee as a standing agenda item moving forward from this point.
I'll second.
I have a motion to add the SCA Public Issues Committee to the agenda. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Bill's.
Any questions? Everybody take a look at the consent agenda and make sure that all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Reports. Jennifer? Councilmember Fairley?
I have nothing at this time.
Councilmember Parker?
I don't have anything. I'll say it for next.
Thank you. Councilmember Thomas?
No report tonight.
Move on to Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Council. So we have survived another raining event during the last couple of weeks. The guys have been cleaning storm drains and jetting, coming in on the weekends, filling up the diesel pumps during the high rains to make sure that the north end of town didn't get flooded and everything held. We've been striping along First Avenue, just north of the railway tracks towards Boeing, and that will be ongoing for another day or two. King County has said they would provide us with $600,000 for a new crosswalk on First Avenue on the interurban trail, and they would also include 10 benches and some garbage cans and doggy stations. They will put together an ILA for council to review. We have a new utility worker, Matt Hyler. You can see Matt on the right-hand side there with the striper. We put him right to work. He's doing a great job. He used to work for restaurants as a bartender for the last 18 years, so this is quite the change. We have had a homeless camp we've cleaned up after, cracked water meters that we've replaced. On First Avenue, just before the railway tracks, you might notice that there's a bit of a hump there. We call it a speed bump, but we did ground penetrating radar there. We found there's looks like an old abandoned pipe underground in one of those locations. In the other locations, it looks like there was an old slab of cement under it because we see the rebar with the ground penetrating radar. The guys have been busy picking up garbage on West Valley. It's pictured there below. And then we have been focused on putting in temporary pump station. We hope to have that up and running on Wednesday when we get power to it. So then we can return our diesel-powered pump and not have to worry about things on the weekends. So that should do us pretty well until we get the more permanent pump station in place. On the top right-hand corner, you can see a mock-up of a potential wetland entrance sign called Algona Wetland Day Hill Reserve. If you need a couple right there. On the next page, we're looking. Sorry.
You can go, sir. You can have mine.
There's one here.
Here you go, sir. Thank you.
We're looking at different wetland type signs. You can see on this picture here the type of frame, and we would have a laminated color sign put on the walkways of the wetland reserve. And on the last page is some examples of 4 different types of signs that we're thinking of putting there. Once the signs are in place, we'll be able to get our $120,000 from the Department of Commerce grant that had already been submitted, reimbursement that had been submitted for. I think that's all I have. Stand for any questions.
I have a question. Do you have any plans on removing that pipe and that little piece of concrete underneath those sections of it first?
No. What we're planning on is cutting open that where that speed bump is and taking some of the dirt out and putting a new asphalt patch with it. Because it's about 6 feet underground. And then there's a PSC, the gas line in the way too. Thank you.
Any other questions?
If it's okay with the council and Mr. Mayor, I'll defer my report to go to the order, given the amount of people here that want to speak.
Okay. Administrator.
All right, I did want to give an update on the state audit. They are working with Ms. Dana here and the mayor on scheduling the exit conference. There are no findings. Great news. We do have a couple of management items to take care of, which is just policy updates that we need to take care of. So generally, council gets invited to those exit conferences. Just keep an eye out for an email in the next couple of weeks. Algona is coming up. That's Friday, April 3rd. That is our first time nighttime Easter egg hunt. So we encourage everyone to show up for that. It's 8 o'clock Friday, April 3rd. The next day, Saturday, April 4th, we'll have our annual Easter egg hunt. And that's from 11 to noon. So we'll have the 2 to 4 years age group at 11, 5 to 7 at 11:15, and 8 to 12 from 11 at 11:30. Gary is always looking for candy donations to help fill eggs. What would that be, March? No, April 1st, Sip and Stitch. Everyone's going to get together and stuff eggs. So if you want to help out, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then just a reminder, we have senior coffee and lunch every Monday and Wednesday from 10 to noon. If you're interested in the lunch, please reach out to Gary and sign up. We have mini makers every Thursday from 5 to 6, and Sip and Stitch every Thursday 5 to 6, and Sip and Stitch every Wednesday 5 to 7. And that? Okay.
I'm going to forego my mayor's report. I want to talk about the South Cities Association Public Issues Committee. And what that is, South Cities Association, there's 39 cities in King County. A lot of people don't realize that. And one of the cities is Seattle. And Seattle got all the attention for a lot of years. So what we did is we took the other 38 cities and we came together, and that gives us 2/3 of the population. So when we go to King County with stuff and say, we've got over 1 million people, Seattle's only got 600. So we created this group called the Public Issues Committee, and it's one representative from each of the 38 cities. And it's important, especially for these guys or everybody, to talk about what's going on. So in this last Public Issues Committee, one of the things that were talked about was there's a transportation benefit district, and that's run by King County Council. And they're proposing adding another 0.1% sales tax to repave roads in East King County. And so us as a group went back to, I'm going to shorten this up because it was a 3-hour meeting between all the cities, and we had a discussion about whether or not to support this tax. And basically we decided to support it if we can get 25% of the income funds. Because it doesn't even good to tax people in cities that don't have county roads if they're not going to give you benefit. So last Thursday we had an emergency meeting, and there was no action, but we did provide testimony to stating that, and Seattle provided testimony also agreeing with us to ask for 25% of the funds. It's a councilmatic thing. They can just say, hey, we want to raise this tax. So at least we'll try to get a piece of it, and then we want to pass that on to you guys too. And actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to audience participation. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to have to say a couple words. The City Council encourages public participation during meetings of the City Council and welcomes your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the City Council on any issue. The Council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You are also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the City Council. When addressing the council, please speak clearly and audibly and state your name and address for the record. I want to introduce Edward, and I don't want to mess up the last name. Ray. He is the vice president of Easy Fiber. Do you have some people with you also? Would you like to introduce them?
Yeah, I have Austin Christensen. He's our government affairs director. Over in the back, I have Keith Powell, our director of construction. Kristen Rogala, she's our manager of engineering affairs.
We can come in. We'll find you some chairs.
I do want to remind folks to, for public comment, whenever I see new faces, I like to make the reminder. It is 3 minutes, so when there's 30 seconds left, we'll hold up a yellow card. When time's up, you'll see a red card.
So did you have anything you wanted to say before we get started? Okay. Taking comments?
So,
And please speak loudly.
yeah,
Thank you.
my name is, well, first of all, city council members, Mayor Liddell, thank you for having us this evening and allowing us to come and make a few comments here. My name is Eddie Brave. I'm the senior vice president of operations, general manager for Easy Fiber in the Pacific Northwest. I live in nearby Tacoma and work out of our offices over in Kent. Me and my team are here today to be transparent, communicate clearly to the community the current state of our project of building fiber optic to the community, to the residents and the businesses in the city. We're here in the spirit of communication to be transparent, open, and answer any questions that the residents of Algona may have. We understand that because of the nature of construction, it creates discomfort, disturbance of construction creates that naturally. And as our teams are working in the city's right of way, it may disrupt traffic and overall just the overall city activities, right? So we're here because we want to provide answers to any of your questions. We have heard your concerns, and we have already implemented action items to address those issues, whether they be concerns for restoration. Some of those restoration issues are dependent on things like weather, and as you guys have we've had some inclement weather over the winter, storms, raining, some snow even in the past season. I do want to provide reassurance that we will restore everything exactly how it was before, or better. So me and my team take that very seriously, making sure that everything is restored back to its original state. We will be sharing a contact number that any concerns that the community has with open items, such as restoration or questions in general about construction. You can call this number. We also have an email for support where you can provide some sort of ticket where your items will be followed up on by the So
Before we open up the floor, I'd like to start with the council, because I know that council member clearly might have comments.
I have a couple of questions. Okay. Tim Hurley, I live 115 Seattle Boulevard South. Half a block from last week's. Okay. I have other concerns besides that. Okay. I've been in the construction field for 36 years. I've done my own business for 36 years. I've been in the construction field for over 40. Okay. Some of the practices that are being used are not best use scenario. I mean, when you leave an area, it's got to be clean. You can drive down Algona Boulevard, and you can see where we put in every box, because there's a pile of gravel in the middle of the road. Because they're shoveling it off the back of the 1 ton, and everything that falls off the shovel is left there. It's like nobody owns a broom or knows how to push a broom. There's pieces of orange pipe up and down Seattle Boulevard. You guys parked the excavator next to a pile of berry bushes, put caution tape around it. When you guys left, you left the caution tape there. It's all wrapped up in all the berry bushes. It's wrapped up around the telephone pole. And then it's tore up and down the street because of the wind. Drink bottles. And I know this because I clean up my street from 1st Avenue to 2nd Avenue every Thursday after the garbage trucks. I go out there with a pair of tongs and I pick up the trash every week. So my section of my road is clean. And it's not clean now. It hasn't been clean since you guys started working there. The other things you do is like you dig a hole and you leave all the big rocks. Okay? When you're cleaning up, you got to clean everything up. Not just the easy stuff. You got to clean everything up. Because now, when the city comes through with their flail mower in a couple months, they're going to hit those giant rocks and you're going to break a $10,000 piece of equipment. Because you guys are just too lazy. And that's what it comes down to. Not cleaning up after yourself is being lazy. Not potholing to find out where the utilities are is being lazy. I drove by the gas leak at 2 o'clock on Thursday. The chief of police didn't get a call until 2:40. What happened for those 40 minutes? Everybody that got evacuated was in harm's way for that 40 minutes. These are my concerns. And that's, I walked, because I'm old and I'm overweight. So I walked the streets. And there's trash from Seattle Boulevard to the Jackson Box, down Algona Boulevard and back up 1st Avenue. And some of those places are cleaned up, supposedly done. It just can't be left like this.
Councilmember Fairley, thank you for sharing that with me. So to assure you that before we go back, we're going to make a good assessment of our work in the city. I'm personally going to task my team to track not only the outstanding items that you just mentioned, but also the performing of those contractors that are working in the area. And any contractor that does not meet our standards will be removed from working in the city. I can assure you that that's not the type of work that we expect out of our contractors. That I personally am very disappointed in that, and I'll make sure that those items that you pointed out, that we have a checklist of those to make sure that they get corrected moving forward, and that work sites are left not only clean at the end of the day, but safe for the community and the residents.
Speaking of safe, there's an open ditch on the corner, 2nd Avenue and Algona Boulevard. It's a 5-foot ditch and put a box sideways across it. So there's 3 feet on each side of it that are just wide open for some reason. And that's where the school bus picks up the kids. So, 2nd Avenue and Seattle Boulevard. Right across the street from that desk.
I'll have that corrected. As soon as I leave your past item work, so I will have it corrected.
Okay, I'm sorry to pile on you, but, I have to represent the city, and, it happened to happen in front of my house. My house is a staging for the police, the fire, the PSC, because I got the only flat parking spot, parking strips, so everybody parked there.
Very fair. Let me be crystal clear. I take full accountability, and that's I don't accept that kind of
Thank you.
I've got a 2-part question here. First, you guys pothole through utilities?
Yes.
And if so, you hit one gas line, why did you hit 2?
the process is, the contractors have to pull in locates, right? So if you want one locates a full location, so he has to come out and locate at the city. This particular gas line was unmarked. The other side of the street was marked. The side of the street that happened was not marked. So there was a gas main parallel to where we were digging, but it was not marked by market. So
the other.
sorry.
That's one. How about the other? They both serve one.
So the other one I have to get back to you on that. I don't have that information in front of me right now. I was talking specifically about the one that happened last week.
So you literally pothole down to see the depths of these utilities
Yeah.
and adjust your hole accordingly.
Correct. So,
One of the comments that I received was that a lot of the markings were done up to a month prior to you guys coming. Should we not be doing the markings sooner than, quicker than where you're going to be doing the digging or the pothole?
so typically you want to start as close to the markings happening as possible. That way the markings are nice and fresh and they're not, erased by weather, rain, or something like that. They are good for 45 days. Well, these are 45 days, but you want to get the work done as soon as possible. So to mitigate some of that, what we're going to do moving forward is that we're going to be able to, also locate for the areas that we're going to be working immediately. We're going to provide a schedule to the city's public works team, to John's team, letting them know the areas that we're going to be working in the next, 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. Those are the areas that are going to be working versus having to locate in areas that we're not actively working currently.
Comments from the public?
If I can, Mayor, I do have one submitted comment via
Okay.
email. I'm gonna go ahead and read.
Okay.
This comment is submitted by Chase and Alicia Donnelly, residents of 135 First Avenue North in Algona. We are unable to attend the meeting and respectfully request the statement be read into the public record due to safety concerns related to fiber construction being performed by Easy Fiber and its subcontractors in our city. In recent weeks, contractors working on behalf of Easy Fiber have struck gas lines at least twice. These are not minor incidents. Gas line strikes create serious safety risk for residents, neighborhoods, and emergency responders, and raise concerns about excavation practices, contractor oversight, and whether work is being rushed. This morning I spoke with PSC's Damage Prevention Group, who shared concerns about Easy Fiber's use of numerous subcontractors with what appears to be limited oversight. PSC indicated many of these contractors are from out of state, and sometimes out of the country, specifically mentioning a contractor from Canada. This makes it difficult for utilities and regulators to follow up when incidents occur to ensure proper oversight of the work being performed and to recover damages when incidents happen. When I contacted Washington 811, I was told at least 4 subcontractors are currently involved in this installation work. This is first and foremost a public safety concern. Repeated gas line strikes, especially if work is being rushed, put citizens at risk. In addition, when damages cannot be recovered from responsible contractors, those costs may ultimately be passed on to utility ratepayers. This lack of clear oversight is concerning because it creates gaps in safety, accountability, and enforcement. There are also concerns raised in other jurisdictions. Based on my conversation with PSE, the city of Sumner did not allow work to proceed as quickly as the company wanted due to risk concerns. The city of Albuquerque shut down Easy Fiber construction due to unsafe conditions. Additionally, Easy Fiber has lost its Better Business Bureau accreditation. Taken together, these issues raise concerns that may warrant closer regulatory review. Our concern is simple. When work is rushed and multiple subcontractors operate without clear accountability and safety incidents are already occurring, the risk to the public increases and costs may ultimately be borne by ratepayers. We respectfully ask the council to review contractor oversight, damage prevention compliance, and safety accountability related to this work to help ensure Washington residents are protected. Thank you for your time and consideration. All right, so up first we have Jessica Brett.
I'm going to defer.
Okay. Sarah Murphy.
I have a series of questions about essentially why Easy Fiber is here and how that process works. Did they approach us as a city saying, hey, we want to install fiber for you? Did we reach out to them? Are we paying for this? Why are they here? Do we have some kind of contract with them?
Yes.
Did we know they were going to do everything via subcontractor? Is there some kind of remedy in a contract that we have with them for this? And then some of the things that people are saying in the Facebook group have to do with people kind of coming onto their property, and there's easements for utility access, but people are saying that they're coming into their backyards. So if any further work is approved, if we could get something so that property owners know where the utility easements are and where they can expect to see people, and then looking into things that have happened in other cities. There are some sinkholes in some cities because the work is not being patched up correctly, and we have a very wet town. So is there something that we can do to make sure that the work that has already been completed isn't going to cause any issues down the line?
So to answer your first question, Easy Fiber approached us.
Okay.
And no, we're not paying for this. They actually gave us a fee to have the right to do this. So we went into a contract with them to put the fiber in the ground. And this was over a year ago.
This was last August.
Last August it was approved. Don't remember some of your other questions. That's okay.
Did we know there was going to be a lot of subcontractor work involved in this? Was that part of like their permitting process? I don't know what the permit process is for this.
And that would be doing into the permit contract. The permit doesn't, I don't believe it has anything, doesn't ask for the number of contractors or who the we got to assume that Easy Fiber is going to be the contractor, and they're responsible for what is correct.
And any contractor working for us has to be licensed in the city of Algona, and also the requirements with insurance, proper insurance, to work within the city of Algona.
You went over a lot of stuff.
I did, because I have a list of questions that are 3 minutes.
Okay.
If we end up approving further work by them with the utility easements for property owners, people have said that people are just kind of wandering around their yards. They don't know who they are or what they're there for. And some of the response to that is, well, there's a utility easement, so they can access without permission, but how do we as property owners know where those easements are?
I would refer that to you, John, because it should be what's. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you know where your water meter is?
Yes.
It's approximately that location.
Okay.
Because the water meter is on your property line.
Okay. Because people have said that they've been like opening gates and going into backyards, and this is just things that I've seen people say on Facebook, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, yeah.
Twice, and I tried to talk to your worker, and he looked at the camera and he kept walking. So, if anybody knows my house, it's 107 Second Avenue. That driveway is long. That's a big blue house. He walked twice behind my house without communication, no proper identification on any of the rest. I don't like that. That's why I'm here today. That's not protocol. I'm like you. I was in the Navy, civil engineer. We had more oversight than you guys. I almost ran into one of your guys because he decided that he was going to grab a board and go behind my vehicle without looking. It's dangerous. It's a liability. I also have law degree. So that's a big liability. I don't want my city to get sued because of your workers. That's a problem.
You're going to be giving out your cards, or you have a phone number you're going to give out tonight. And you can call. I mean, you're welcome to always call me, and I can call too. But
I talked to the police officer. You guys are very forthright and helping out. So.
good. Okay.
Yeah, in the future, if you see somebody in your rain camera and you think they're trespassing, by all means, call us.
Well, I know
We're
that.
out there. We work for you.
Call 911.
Yeah,
They did
call
all-
911.
Okay, good.
And also Dean helps out on this type of site situations too, so.
Does that happen to include multiple salesmen who stopping by?
Yeah, by all means, call those as well, because in the city of Algona, you're required to get a peddler's license.
They have to show you, and we've done all that. We've been through that because they were coming by my house. And then we worked together with Easy Fiber. They're all licensed, they all are identified, they all have, when they come to the door, I think they have a vest on and their badge. So they do have permission to go around the city. No, I had a guy come to my house, huh?
Multiple times? I'd have to.
Is there any way that we can?
There is a process if you want to have it actually, not just get an address so that no one can refer to.
Can you tell us now how to do that, please?
And how do we keep them from getting in our mailboxes? I have it on video of them putting this flyer in their mailbox and it's locked. And I have video.
So shouldn't your guys be just doing, I thought we were just doing door hangers. Yeah, but they're putting stuff, from what I understand, there's video of them putting flyers in mailboxes.
Yeah, we haven't watched mailboxes, but we have a flyer on ours.
Yeah.
Well,
Door hanger
I
flyer.
also have a sign on my front of my house that says all deliveries and everything go to the back door because I have 3 boxers. And if my dogs get out because somebody opened the gate, they don't know.
They shouldn't be able to approach if you have no solicitor on your door. They should not go on anybody's property if you say no solicitor.
Is that part of your,
That is one of the action items that I think about and I assure you that I will not. So one of the have the sales manager and we and personal problems with it. He oversees our sales our sales team and it's we usually do that anybody has something else to say.
so are they keeping a list of where they've stopped, and that way we don't have, I mean, I had one guy keep coming to my house and coming, it's still one guy, and I'm sure it's because I'm the mayor and he wanted to put a deal together with me. And I probably told him to go away, but, yeah, is there any way that we can tell your guys if they go to a house and the people tell you no, then it's no, and not to have two or three guys go back?
Yeah, we can get you added to a do not knock list.
Okay, so we need to do that.
Can you tell us how to do that right now? How do we do that?
I'll give them a card out. You just email me your address and I'll do that.
I'd rather not, you have my contact info. I'd like to know how to get off that list right now.
You can call our call center and they'll add you to it.
Okay, what's the number for the call center, please?
253-260-3600.
Thank you.
Can we go back and have, so she can finish asking the questions,
Yeah.
please?
Piling on with the no, I also have a no solicitation sign on my door, and I got a knock under the guise of telling me that they were going to be doing some work in the area that turned into like a 10-minute sales pitch. So if you could also tell them to knock that off, that would be appreciated, because that's why I have the no solicitation sign. The last big question that I had was anything that we can do to make sure that the work that has already been completed was done properly, because other cities that have had work done have had problems down the line with sinkholes and things like that.
John, I'll answer that, because I know that specifically that John's team is working directly with his team when they finish something. Our guys are going out and inspecting each one.
Okay.
They're going to open up 146 holes in the pavement, and we're going to look at every one of those holes.
And is Easy Fiber reimbursing that cost of all that work?
Yes.
Okay. That's most of what I have.
Thank you. Those are great questions. Who's next, Jessica?
I have Josh. Yes.
I don't have much else to add that people already said, but my main concerns is, I understand, people do work. It can be messy. It can be inconvenient. My main concern is safety I was one of the houses that had to evacuate. And this company has a pattern of doing these things. You know, it's not one gas main, it's two. And they've got a history with other cities in litigation. Like, they're not allowed to do business in Albuquerque. Albuquerque put a stop to it.
Katy, Texas.
And Katy, Texas. You know, and quite frankly, like, I don't want them doing the work because I'm worried that they're going to do something else. Because, you know, one time's an accident, two times that's a pattern. And it's a pattern that they've had throughout several cities. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. I can tell you that I'm going to continue to work closely with them. And our whole city team is going to be working closely with both their team and keep an eye on everything that's going on in the city.
All right, now we have Jennifer Dobbins.
I pretty much just done what I need to do. Is I had it on video that they were putting in my
Okay, so maybe give it with Ted and Peter that video, please. Thank you. Who's next?
I apologize if I say your name wrong. Ephraim Alvarez?
Yeah, I'm disclosure. I'm a resident of Milton, so I don't want to take anyone else's time. So if you'll have me, Okay. I'm resident of Milton. We're also having Easy Fiber, and we also had a gas line breach. I think the same week that you guys had it. When we also didn't have emergency response to it, and that's an issue. It's on our main arterial Porter Way. If you're familiar with Milton, and it seems that the response is proportionate to the event, right? So nobody got hurt, and so there wasn't a response to mitigate, I guess, something down the line. And hearing about your city's misfortune about the gas line, it just seems putting things together, along with, again, the history in other cities in its way. There seems to be a problem here with safety. Personally, just the construction is shoddy. I have a driveway that's next to my neighbors. There's 2 driveways, and we have that 10-inch round fiber to home irrigation box, whatever. And that's not going to fly, right? And we understand that. And anyone who does this work, like, you know, whether it be union or for a while, knows that wouldn't fly. And if you were in the same company who had to come over and pull the wire after that, you wouldn't allow that, right? You wouldn't pull wire from the same company who did that kind of work. And if you were a splicer, you wouldn't allow that. This is why utilities have to have a strong confidence in each other and the people in the utilities. So when these things happen, and I so happen to be a utility man, like I'm a lineman crew chief and I do this for a living, so I just so happen to know what I'm looking at when I look at the construction and the practices and the traffic management. Traffic management is a headache any way you look at it, even if you do it correctly, even if you follow the MUCDS, whatever the standards it is. But there are a few things that you really have to look out for. Now, in Milton, we have 161 Highway 161 Meridian. Right? And on Friday, they shut down a southbound lane of 161 Meridian from Milton Way up into south of that. And the ramifications was the backup all the way to Jet Chevrolet with near the freeway. And the issue behind that is, okay, nobody got hurt that we know about that, but it serendipitously runs between all these senior centers. And when you take away traffic like that, you're taking away life, precious time. As someone who works in the streets like that, you have to do that on the weekends, after hours, whatever. That costs money, that costs premium pay. And if you're a legit company, like, that's the cost of doing business. If you're trying to save money, you will try to just do certain things and just to get it done. It's called hard money. Thank you. All right.
All right, up next we have Ms. Boyda.
I just have one question. According to the zoning board, this house in the work, easy sidewalk, needs a square. Right, my house, you know the field, I'm just curious as to why the stop, because we have 2 wires coming out of our yard. With a cone, sideways with the people on the side.
I stopped at work because we needed to get together as city and contractor and figure out how to go forward so that the residents of our city were safe. And I called him up and said, I need to stop now. And he did. He called down here. And I called him back a little later because I got phone calls because people said they were still working. But the only way they could shut it down properly was to put away all their equipment and pick up everything they could pick up.
So, what about the wires in the yard?
When are they going to connect the wires in the yard?
So we're on Thursday, we're tagging those areas that we plan on this work tomorrow, certainly this tomorrow. And we have about 60% of the work in the city already completed in terms of the work to get our conduit in the ground.
And that's strictly conduit.
Strictly conduit.
So they still have to pull the wires.
Once we do set the conduit, we tie in the conduits and set the handles, the walls, starting fiber through, and then network will go live where those customers in the city limits that have pre-signed up for service. And right now we have about 20% of the overall homes that will be serviceable that have pre-signed up for our service.
What are the structural services on our street?
We need to hear you. Can you speak up, sir?
Where are the terminals going to be located on my street?
So, it's engineered, they are throughout each street. It's not a one-for-one, so not each home has one terminal to feed up at each home. So they're throughout your street, that's how it's. So, as soon as we're able to get back to work.
Because my street is just north or south from the building. There's a gap in the middle. How big is the one? Where's the middle?
I don't have the plans in front of me, but, you know,
I'm just worried about the two words for me. There's dog walkers, there's kids on bikes, and out of the public, it's mowing the day. And they won't be able to do that. I just, it's people.
Did you tell us that you plan to be out of Algona by the end of April?
our plan is to be filling in the city of Algona by the end of April, beginning of middle of May. We want to be able to complete our work with entering people already. So we've done resources, all restoration, including landscape restoration and rescue restoration. So we're asking for the concrete and the rest of
I don't think you can give me an exact date when you're going to fill those pipes up with wire. Right, it'll be within the next 45 days.
The orange.
Right.
Thing that I'm seeing is on Shasta.
Right, it's just strictly conduit. And they come back and they pull the wires to each terminal.
So our conduit is going, the front of our house goes underneath the house.
It's going to be in the post right away. It's not really work private property. Yes, it's from your house, but it's in the city.
Well, when I saw the way over there going that, it's going on here. And I did, whatever I did, I think it was down there, there was no, explanation, you don't know, this is why.
I think important in the way of it was to let people know that we were stopping production at that point.
Which I heard that, but I wasn't, there was no explanation for why. That's, I didn't realize it was complicated, somebody told me it was complicated.
I didn't know
on Kirby Select, it says here Washington Boulevard, you see a fruit all that. And that's what it is. This time other than that, so we have to say about the sales people.
Okay, Lisa Martin?
Yes, I have 20 to 25 years of construction experience as well, and in the last 18 years, and about 40 buildings we've built, we've never hit a gas line. So I'm wondering, was there any due diligence done before they started work? Did we look into the company? I mean, I've had 2 gas notices on my phone, and we lived here since 1999, we've never had a gas evacuation. So I don't have a lot of confidence in what they're doing.
We ran it through council 3 times. Everybody had a chance to look at it. We have public notices.
All right, David Martin?
Hi, I'm David Martin, I'm attorney to Second Highway South. We have a very narrow area in our easement. We're behind the house on the street, and our underground utilities are packed. We have gas, electric, telephone, and recently we have Comcast put a new underground conduit up to our house. We do not want Easy Fiber to run a conduit underground with their track record here in the city of Algona and other cities. And I called your company and they told me over the phone that when we're going to be running underground, they'll let us know, and at that time I should tell them that I don't want them to run the conduit up to our house. Is that true?
Your house off, is it on a public road, goes in the traffic?
We have an easement driveway, so there's a house on the corner, and then Councilman White's house, and then there's an easement, and then there's our neighbor's house and our house. And so we have a driveway, and it splits up, and we have the telephone and electric go across our driveway into a box in our front yard, and then back across our driveway into our house. And I just don't trust you guys to be able to put a conduit under there and not hit something. Especially since we've worked with Comcast for so many years, we're very happy with the services they have. It's provided us with nothing but the utmost care and consideration. And I just don't want to ever run out of my house.
I think that is some private property. It's private drive, just like the driveway we have in my house. They're only going to put conduit along the road. And they're only going to come to your, they're only going to bring a line up to somebody's house if they want the service.
Okay. So they ran markings in my driveway with flags. Yes, you came by and did that like last week, I think.
That is it for most of the time.
Is there any other questions for, yes, sir?
I don't have, of course, I got a few things I'd like to tell the gentleman that's happened around my house. My name is Tracy Graham. I live at 1213 Avenue North on the corner of Algona Boulevard and 3 Avenue North there. And first, I have a son that works graveyard. Bedroom's 10 feet away from where you guys are putting in his cable. He left 6 diesel trucks idling all day in front of my house. I went out there, asked them if you're going to let your trucks sit, or they weren't using them, they were just sitting there. I asked them if they could turn them off at least if they're going to be here all day like this, because my son's sleeping. He works all so they finally took turned a couple of them off. The next day, I went back out. When I called Dean, talked to him, and he called you guys, told you guys that, hey, we got my situation. And then the next day, they moved the trucks down the block, still idling, but you can still hear them. But then they turned on all their drills and let them sit there and run for an hour and a half to warm up at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, my son just fell asleep half an hour ago. So now I have drills running next to my house. His bedroom is 10 feet from Algona Boulevard. And I just, I called Dean again. I said, hey, Dean, these guys, now they've got equipment running out here now. What do? He said, I'll take care of it. So then, last week, our new speed limit is 25 on our road. It's been for quite a while now. The gentleman that drives the diesel pickup pulling the trailer went by my house doing about 50 miles an hour with a flat tire throwing rubber all up and down the road. And then I went down to Walmart to get some stuff later on, and guess what? There's that tire right down the middle of Algona Boulevard, all the way to the corner. And it sat there for 2 days before it got cleaned up. I thought that was unsafe when he was doing that. And then, the weekend when you guys started working next to my house, it was my 27-year anniversary, so me and my wife were gone for the weekend. We showed back up. I got all your conduit laying in my yard. They had conduit laying up against my house. So I went back out there Monday and said, hey, can you guys at least clean this up? Guess what? It looked this clean 3 days later. And it took them almost a week for them to come get it off my property. I asked them to get it off my property. And they didn't. Here's a picture of this after they cleaned it up. And then they finally came back 2 days later and got that out of there. That is, my property line is right there at that fence. I know I had the fence installed and it's right on the edge off of my property line on my side. And they had their stuff all the way up against my house. And then my son also told me that they blocked my driveway off while I was gone, and they didn't go. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. I have a lot. They did a lot to me, so. You guys talk or something? Yes, I.
Okay, so I had originally deferred. My name is Jessica Brecki. I'm at 312 2nd Avenue North in Algona, and they have not hit our area yet. So yeah, I needed to be here. I would like to know first, Mr. Edward, I did not catch your last name because you had your back to the people that you're affecting. Can you tell me what the address was that Councilmember Fairley said that pole was that you said you were going to address?
Second Avenue in Seattle.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. And then this is to, I guess, the mayor and to Easy Fiber. Is there a clear definition of what restoration is or looks like in the contract between the city and Easy Fiber? And then the other question was, what is the procedure for filing complaints for damage, trespass, and harassment? Thank you.
Let me tackle the first question. Yes, there is in contract restoration. You put that there as was, it's not there.
Okay, thank you.
It's in our contract. Second one, are you going to give out the number?
Yeah, there's also support mailbox.
Stand up, please.
Our support mailbox is support.wa@easyfiber.com. So you can submit a ticket there if there's any concerns with restoration or anything else, sales related or any other item address. And then phone number 253-260-36. That's the number to our office.
Is there an expected turnaround time when people submit tickets?
I'm sorry?
Is there an expected turnaround time for a response when people submit tickets?
Yeah, so usually our contact center specialist gets back to you in 24 hours for the resolution. Restoration, normally there's soft-scape restoration, so any landscaping restoration should be done within 48, 72 hours of disturbance. For hardscape, it's usually 15 to 30 days, depending
sounds good on paper, but I went down the rabbit hole with this company, and their restoration has not been put on track either. Just so you know, I've seen people say that they just do a patch of grass and that's it, and that was it. So I don't feel confident that they would fix it. On top of that, they're calling your company, and I know it's not as here for you guys, and I am from here, but down in Albuquerque, Texas, and all those places, they're calling you guys. You guys say I'm going to come out to pacify, and they never show up on the website, and then they're on to the next town. They're doing Instagram to run my ass. I mean, it's a whole situation. Why they're being counted out there going like that. So
I think we've taken this far enough, and I'm so deep in it now that everybody has my contact information, and I'm not afraid to call and talk to him. I mean, I don't want everybody to tell me I got nothing to do, but if it gets to that point, then please contact me. I'm not hard to talk to. I think first what I would like to do is to help me out. It's probably better legally is to go online and fill out one of our complaint forms. And I think if anybody's used that, they know how quick to react to that. So if they would do that to start with, and then if you don't get any action from that, because I usually get involved in most of those, or I hear about them. But it gets on very quick. They come in every day. And so
I would also add that if you feel like somebody's trespassing on your property, you're being harassed, or you have a peace disturbance, by all means call 911, right? At the very least, there's going to be a video of the incident from a body-worn camera from a third-party perspective. So I encourage all of you to do that.
I mean, we're all into this now. We're 3/4 of the way done with this project, and we all need to work together to get this finished, to get to the finish line. It's too late to go backwards. And I'm really proud that everybody's here and making their comments. We just need to all work together to get this done and get through it.
And I'm sure that the council will follow up to make sure that Easy Fiber is restoring all these areas per their franchise agreement. And that we'll follow up with that.
If I could follow up with that, as we wrap up each area of the city, we will have a meeting with the city council and the mayor providing progress report, so that there's 3 segments, as I explained to the mayor, and the city of Algona, your city, so 3 permanent areas of Algona. And as we complete them, we close out restoration completion, both from soil-scape, right, grass, landscaping, hardscape. We will have meetings with you and the city council to give you everything that has to restore, and have a proper report, and answer any questions that you consider. And we need to come back to a forum like this, answer questions, and follow up if anyone who's not satisfied about that restoration took place. We can do so, and then we will have a high follow-up person in my team to ensure that it gets restored to its original state. Follow up on and comment about insurance, make sure that the work that we've done is proper, and if there's any issues that happen, say, a year from now. Easy Fiber does have a performance bond with the city of Algona that ensures any work that we've done is to come to the standards of the city, and how it's working for the city, so we would have our to be able to
After we shut down on Friday, we had some conversation Friday afternoon about going forward. Number 1 was communication that we talked about. And of course, the first thing I see in here is that you're putting stuff in mailboxes and they're working. Well, yeah, they work. The most important part was that they were notifying people that, hey, we're going to be in your area. So we discussed, instead of working in all 3 areas at one time, and I discussed was they're going to start to finish that for me and explain how we're going to finish this.
Yeah, so we're going to try to provide, we'll provide a schedule to John and the team who will do the work.
please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
The question was, he wanted to know if you're going to be here on a regular basis.
Is somebody from your company going to be here managing these contracts?
Yes. So when legislating Georgia is regular proceed, I put in the back taking notes of everything that you guys talked about. And to this point, it's not the way that we like to judge our construction practices. I myself am going to be a few cars here. I'll come out and I'm here at the desk, that's fine. We also have a construction manager, we have several inspectors. So what I think that this can is for us is to get to the accountability of what's going on. A lot of these communications go with the contract. Oversight is key. And we need these bills, the macro bills, the large scale bills. So a lot of the complaints, we can really understand in order to address those. I think that's an easy finder. Our representation is from grants results. I think a lot of correspondence that we go to more subcontractors and those guys that are out there just struggling and trying to get that done. That's what we fail in our representation. This is 34 years at your point. I'll leave my contact information as well as the CN who was overseeing this area and several inspectors.
I appreciate that.
So is there going to be any kind of personnel change? Is that now? When we're talking about full accountability, what does that look like?
Yeah, so we work with, I have operating this, a lot of documentation on what we're doing. So we got SOPs in place. Some of the questions that you all were asking are about an understanding the phase of construction. So even with the soft surface issues where you can see ducts sticking out of the ground, there's a process of how things are done. It definitely hasn't been sufficient as it should be, but I'd like to get you guys educational material. And a lot of this is us going, again, it's oversight. So our commitment is to our numbers is an easy finder, all over the place. And that way you have professional representation. To your point, you got there's people here, subcontractors that come from all over the country, and at times we're going to see people that work from outside of the country. We are here, I'm local, I've worked here for 10 plus years. So everyone who's experienced here, whether it was in previous companies, I've done work with Comcast, Verizon, etc. So a lot of these practices, again, they are not aligned with what we, how we want to operate. So your point, a lot of this is just personnel. What you have not seen is the oversight from inspectors and construction managers. So the crew of the crew, they operate in accordance with what we put in place for them. So again, that's what we feel. So a lot of these complaints we got, even going into your yards, or you don't necessarily work right away, that is things that feels like we take utilities. We should have representation out there to you guys as needed. So I think the big bridge for all of this is for me and you to provide my contact information and my team's information. That way you're not talking to the guys that are out there just on the road.
Can you run that by me again? I'm sorry.
We've got an open ditch that's
Okay.
and it's not been filled, whereas in our next door neighbor has that. And Les got filled in, and nothing ever happened. Even one of the years what happens, something is perfect. My next door neighbor had a friend put his apartment. People run up and down the street with this down the street. People drive 70 miles an hour up and down the street. What happens in some cases?
Well, like I said, there's an open access right now.
Yeah.
I think what does maybe we could have our public works team go out and take a look.
Well, they're right across the street. Yeah.
So not
They clean it up all the time.
I've got an open ditch across the street from our property too, and there's only one little stretch of ditch in front of my neighbor's house. I've never thought about it. I have to pull out of my teeny driveway with a trailer behind my truck. It's a pain in the ass for my leg to get it down, and I've never thought about, I figured if I went into the ditch, then I should have been watching what I was doing. My leg would probably get hurt.
I'm not worried about us. I'm worried about somebody else right into that ditch.
Well, they won't see you there if you're out in the city.
Yeah,
and they won't
that's
see the
not
city.
the rule, of course.
Yeah, I know.
We have your phone numbers.
I may want to know that the price tag is showing up right now, which is right now.
John will follow up. John?
Yeah, I've got your phone number.
Come on over to say hi. We all used to pizza for work together.
I'm just worried about the longevity of the infrastructure. So on the 36-inch handholds at the end of the streets, every time we've opened it up now, we've had a pale water, or your next slice has to come in and pale water out of it, right? And like I'd expect that at the bottom of the hill after it's been there for like 10, 20 years, so they're not on the same month of construction. And here in Washington, it's going to freeze thaw, and then your lines break. So I don't see this as, I don't know how there's a remedy to that. And it's also, like my specific issue, and a lot permitted through all these cities, is use the 10-inch round fiber enclosures. You run them parallel to the street, and that would work in any other place that has a curve, right? But Milton doesn't have any curve. So people, there's no defined lot where people stop and park, right? So they're going to be crisscrossing across your infrastructure. And like if you spend a little bit more time and money and plan for that, then I have a little more confidence in the infrastructure. So I don't know how we address that at this point. Well, see, Ephraim Almer, and I sent you an email, you probably have it with some pictures of the enclosure. And the practice is that you're splicing at 9:30 at night.
Can I be glad to back the time? Can you guys do this online or online? Or it's an important conversation.
Okay, and I just have one question. So, what is the remedy to these gas spikes? Because that 2 plus 1 of ours is 3 in this past 2 weeks. I don't know if I heard that answer. Before we all leave, we got a lot to talk about, but how me that I can take back to my city is how are we going to prevent this?
Yeah, and again, I don't mean it may sound vague, but the biggest thing for us again is proper oversight. We were talking about the laws. A lot of this for us, just to get back to that, there's tier 2s, we have laws that are the proper tier 4, which you're talking about. Additionally, with the engineering, so to an extent, we have material that were the general use, and they're not proper. So I wanted to talk to you specifically because I actually drove out the entire area today, took pictures of any location where those small irrigation style holes are.
contractors if you're not confident in the work that they're doing without significant amounts of oversight?
It's the scale of what you expect. Again, the growing pains of the field is large. You expect that the professional filter that you get in contractor. We're bringing in guys that present themselves well. When we get this feedback, you understand what you're dealing with. That's a lot of what this is. For us right now, again, what we're doing, but the reason that myself and the entire team is here, we take this feedback and apply it. We don't want to have the same, I can't get to you coming here, and have this be the conversation that I'm having. I'd like for you guys to welcome what's going on. Let's get us to make this stuff, the value of the neighborhood, bring a library, have options. It's not a bad thing if it's very much done correctly. So for us, if we mitigate the noise by taking my people, it's the first time I'm thinking. And that's why I said I want to make myself available so I can just, the boiling up, I understand everyone's frustration. I have not been in the boiling. So my goal right now is to give you that assurance so that you know from easy by not the contractors that we're working through everything that you're saying.
Did I hear the answer what we need to do about the gas lines?
Yeah, so what we say is again, oversight. We pass everything until it's not over. The goal is again, you're doing it the right way. You have a certain level of clearance. If there's no oversight, there's cases where everyone is taking death. A lot of this is pullback. We also understand this not to go granular, but this is a very rocky area, which we all know. In some cases, it's not necessarily that it's directed as far as someone hit a gas line that is located and pulling back. It's about having the proper, again, people who are working in the Pacific Northwest, which are replacement to. So that you have people who are familiar with the grounds. And that way, when they pull back, and you pull it real back, you get the column, glacier tail, and it can bounce the ride. So in the case of one of the cases, one was unlocated, so there was no way to find that. It wasn't marked, it wasn't meant to saw a mark. And if you see a mark, and you locate it, or you pull it, you don't find anything, then you call it to. If there's no mark, you have no idea. We have a certain percentage that are all just unmarked. And more specifically, a lot of the cases, the utilities and the maps that they have aren't that up to date. So what we've done is try to offer an opportunity to bring in Boulevard. This is a private located company that will GPR these areas, so we're not just relying on maps or where else is out there, so we can get secondary coverage. But essentially what I'm saying is, some of these kids have been unlocated, or someone has pulled back and they hit a large stone and then bounce the ride up, and it creates a case. So for us, and talking with our contractors, again, having supervisors on site, not guys who are just pulling back as quickly as possible to do the job done. But we're carefully having to watch each area where you know you have a major utility, you're supposed to watch that faster. So again, though,
but if it's relocated, shouldn't we be in there anyway? If you're supposed to have it located before you do anything.
The locate tickets are pretty much what. So in some cases, the utility lets you miss. They don't locate an area. So when they don't locate, you have to take it through and consider it good go, so you would know what's in the ground.
Okay, because the personal things as well, mark where you want it located. When they come out and go, okay, you want to go all the way down to 4,000, Algona Boulevard, whatever. And you're not even supposed to start digging until you get the ticket.
They clear the ticket, sometimes they don't locate the ticket.
Well, that's why I was confused. They're clearing the ticket, how is it looking? So you start digging.
They say that they don't have a utility in the area, so a lot of it is, again, that's what we're saying, some records are older. And some of these facilities actually have a distance where they have a guy out there that's specific, just may not have known what they mark a particular area that they have. So they don't go back and they clear the ticket. So we also just do, so where we have the PSC for what we're going in, we're trying to figure out what they have out there. In a lot of cases, we still want to make sure that when we have those situations that we're getting, we're trying to figure out what we can do to help them out. If it's a speed thing, it's a big tickets, it's not the hard, or how many people they have on staff to actually do the tickets for us, because we're all over the state. So.
The three gas strikes, they performed by three different crews, or just any crew?
I know about how the primary contract associated, that's one of the things we're talking about right now.
So I know we have three crews out here. You can drive down the road and you can tell where one crew starts and the next one, like how the work is done. Okay, the one running down Seattle Boulevard, there are the guys running fast and free. Okay. The other I mean, I would check the records, and if it's the same group that's doing all the damage, I would just release it.
Yeah, we'll make a full assessment on who's out there and
I feel bad. I feel like I opened up the floodgates on you guys today. Signed up for fiber, so you guys are.
All right, I do ask if anybody spoke tonight, has not signed the form, please sign it before you leave. I'll just leave it here.
So we have a couple of temporary contracts in the last city. But since we got to come up with hands that the utility PSC wants to have, they typically go on records and they'll go out there and spread to what they see. So they'll have standards go over all the other and locate things, not only just where they are in terms of TPR levels. No, the standard, you go over and then they'll identify it.
Who wants to out for, let's say, PSC or national gas or whatever, they're after their tax? Yeah. Is there some kind of a checklist that says, yes, PSC, is this where PSC line, is this where national gas is? So there's somebody confirming that they are actually there, but just like you said, there's some that aren't reported.
Yeah, and that's where in those cases, we take it to PSC. If they don't locate it, then that's another case, and they can identify the person that further takes this individual. And that's where it's up to the expect to have on our end, when we make that decision, we take the conflict. At that point, when we filter through, we see how many times it's occurred with a particular person, facility, or they were located, and just how they brought it forward. In those cases, it's on our part to make sure that we vet these guys out. So again, I continue to reiterate what that's why a lot of this is first time. I take this back, I mean, we got the list of our contract with the back, Chris Hacks, the representative of Baja, so the contract that's received out here, the Tron. So again, when it comes to the conversation we have, even though it's here, that's what we talk about, is how we get the right people in here to ensure that those conversations. But essentially, again, the utilities all in that process, and they have a list, and then take them and come and work it, and they have to do the same thing, not that.
This is just for the city. I think when all this is said and done, maybe it would be a good idea to maybe have the lessons learned or something, to review this project, what worked, what didn't work, improvements. And that's what where I work, when we finish the project, we go, okay, what happened, I think that would be a very good idea.
We review, when we get done with the jobs, we review it, we go over it, and make sure we all learn every day. So no, that's a great suggestion. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Thank you. So we're going back to work tomorrow. And we're going to get through this and bad, please. Maybe I get the bad, so I might hear some I hear a lot of good. Sometimes in a situation like this, it's good to hear some good sides, so I appreciate it. I'm going to move on with the meeting. We're going to go to discussion items. Item A is Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan.
All right, so this is council's second review of the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan. It serves as a guiding policy document for the planning, development, and maintenance of the parks, recreational facilities, trails, and open spaces within the community. Adoption of the plan will support our efforts to enhance and expand public park amenities, maintain our eligibility for funding. Once this gets approved, the RCO for recreation conservation office. With the state, they have a grant opportunity coming up, so we'll submit it to them and they will consider us for additional grant funding on the parks. Are there any questions for the last review?
Is the new letter going to be added to the supplement? Does it have to review that? Or is it just?
Oh, our planning commission.
Yeah, planning.
They already did the recommendation, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was the thing.
Item B is 2026-2027 King County Waste Reduction and Recycling Grant Contract.
All right, so this is our every 2-year grant with King County. It's for $20,000 over 2 years for our recycling event, which is coming up in May. That's the calendars. I don't have the exact date, but May 2nd. So May 2nd is our recycling event. This funding helps support that. And yeah, this is a pretty regular grant that we get to any questions, let me know.
Item 12 is new business, saying new business, old business. The ordinance and resolutions for this evening, next workshop. Are we going to continue the conversation on the speed cameras at that time, or are we going to?
It's up to council when I can schedule the company. I don't want to commit to the next workshop until I talk to the manufacturer, and then I will email the council.
Since we're going to be 2 weeks to the next workshop, 3 weeks to the next workshop, I think that's a good idea to have Easy Fiber come back in at that time to give us an update. And that would be a 6 o'clock meeting on the date of the next one, 6th? 13th of April. Can we do that? So you guys are all welcome. It'll be a 6 o'clock workshop. We'll give you a full hour. A full hour to do nothing to talk about this.
Talk about how great things are going.
Yeah. Anything good in the order? Anybody have any other comments before I close the meeting? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. I have a question about the new block like town to be here. Are you going to enforce no parking there 24/7?
Yes. Yes.
It's Kent. I leave those somewhere. They have streets with the what I think is going to be happening here and well, Davis Park.
There's going to be a 2-foot wall, so it's going to be kind of hard to drive in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they stay on the back.
No, it's like a 2-foot wall.
Cool. Thank you.
No, it's 1 foot by 1 foot, I believe, John.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we will tell. We won't be like it.
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to make sure that's brought up at every council meeting. So everybody knows that we're going to walkway up and down Algona Boulevard on the west side. And there will not be parking on the west side of Algona Boulevard. And there will be crosswalks. Is it every cross street, John? There'll be crosswalks in every cross street?
Yes.
Coming down Algona Boulevard. So I know what's going to happen. We're going to start that. Just to make sure that the else on it. Any other question?
When will this start?
I'm hoping to hear back from our engineers. We have been on holidays until last Wednesday, so without the update, council next.
This is a real important project. And have John and back to happen.
The mayor has been requesting ASAP.
Yes. Yeah, we looked across the street from the Algona Boulevard for 24 years now.